now, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to Theresa, and she is going to show us some of these cool new Hour of Code lessons that we have.
All right, thank you. So I will show you my main screen. See it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just show you quickly how I got to this page. This is where all our lessons live, our lesson library. So I'll just go back to sort of where Tara just was. So on Ozobot.com, we have our educators section, and then it's really easy just to go to the lesson library from that button. So that'll take you right here. And so what we've done is we've set up our Hour of Code lessons on this top bar. And in a few days, actually I think tomorrow we'll have this updated. So it's going to say these are the Hour of Code lessons. I'm just going to show you that page right now so you can see it. So by tomorrow, this is what it should look like. And they'll say featured for Hour of Code, and then you can see more. So this will be where our lessons are. And I wanted to go through also how, like, the new lessons that we've come up with. So some of them are same from last year, especially our intro lessons. So if you look up here at our intro to Ozobot, this is like you've just gotten your kit, you want to get started, or you'll be working with students who haven't used Ozobot yet. So this is a good intro. And then we also have the OzoBlockly version. So if you're ready to get started with OzoBlockly, you could also go from there. And so when we say unplugged, we mean it's our drawings, so using our codes, and we've also organized them into if you're experienced or brand new. We also have lessons that are subject specific. So for example, modeling animal habits and habitats. In this lesson, you'll be using drawing Ozo codes, but you'll also be you'll be modeling animal behavior. So if your students are pretty used to how to draw, then you'll want to do a lesson like this. So for example, I can go into the lesson right now. Scroll down. So this actually will be teaching you the point counter codes, which I know many of you have seen on the code reference guide, and there's been a lot of questions. So this actually is going to teach you and get your students using the point codes. So what happens with the point codes is that as you start at 5 and you count down to 0, when your bot has got 0 points, it's going to do a little dance and stop. So you'll test that first, and then on to the science. So here's our map. What the students will have to do is place the point codes in the best place to make sure that their little Ozobot, Ozo Bunny, is going to collect them. And what they want to do is make sure that their Ozo Bunny is going to eat enough food so it can rest. So this would just be like modeling, like if you go out in the countryside and you see rabbits, it's like they're just constantly bouncing around. So this is like younger students can develop this model. So that's one special for Hour of Code. And then this is another special lesson for Hour of Code, and it's Evo specific. And even if you don't have Evo, you can check it out. It's pretty cool. So I'll actually switch my camera to me. You still see my screen. So I'll just close the screen, then you can see me. So what I'm going to do is show you basically how this lesson works. So I've got each of our colors, and I've preloaded a program which you're also going to preload for your students. So what it is we use the proximity sensors to have Evo move. So you can turn it by activating the front sensors, and you can go from the back to get to move forward. And the goal of this lesson is to reach every color, and every color you get a point.
So what the Evo is actually saying is 1 right there. It's counting for you.
So we got 2 points. I'm going to cheat. When you get 3 points, you do a little dance. So that's exciting. So this looks like a complex program. Let's see, I'll go back to my screen. But I just want to show you that the point of this lesson is for kids to see how they could build a game, and then they're going to check out the program. This program looks pretty complex, but what they're going to do is analyze how Evo goes around this track and then compare their analysis to what the actual program says. So if you look at this, it's like simple English. Basically, forever, if there's something on the left, you're going to turn right and move forward. If there's something on the right, turn left. If there's something behind you, move forward. And then for every color, you get 1 point. And then down here, if you have 3 points, break out, do your dance. So your students will get like a kickstart into programming, and it'll really start them feeling confident in their program. So that's really exciting.
What grade levels would you say that?
We would say 6 and up, 6th grade and up. But if you have students who are sort of tech savvy and they've been doing coding before and they're like 4th, 5th grade, I think they'll be able to handle this. So that would be okay. All right. So like I said, we have our unplugged, our cool lessons, and our OzoBlockly lessons. We also have some lessons for your colleagues who maybe don't have Ozobots, but they're really curious. So we wanted to make sure that even if you don't have our hardware, you can get into using Ozobot and using OzoBlockly. So what we've got here are 2 no bot needed, no bot required. And so for this one, Program Simulator, you'll be doing it with drawing. If you have an Ozobot, you can use the Ozobot on this. So I'll just scroll down to this is the program. If any of you are used to text-based programming, you'll notice that we have some instructions on the side. It looks like a code editor with the numbers on the side, so it tells you which line to go to, like which line you're on. So maybe you get like an error and it says, oh, error on line 7, check your code. So what students will be doing is reading this, and then they'll be drawing and making sure that they end up in the right place, and you'll have the solution. So you can do like this as a class and then have another slightly more advanced version that they go through. So this is just like going through the syntax of coding. This lesson is for, we would say like all grades, but maybe I guess like second and up. And then if you have your Ozobots, you've drawn a black line with your markers and you can have your bot walk on it. So that's cool. But like I said, if you just want to read code, understand what code is like, totally unplugged and with no hardware, no robots, that's perfect. And then our other one is how to program robots. So you can tell your colleagues about this one. This is actually Shape Tracer, and we just guide you through it. If you don't have robots, how do you move through each level? So that's a good one too. All right. So like I said, some of these are subject specific, and let's see. We also have some aimed at older grades. So we have a couple of programs where students are actually given a set of instructions, and then they have to build their program. So we expect students to already have been programming for a little while, know some basics. So for this one, to create a second timer, I'll show you down here. These are the challenge requirements. So this is what you would hand out to the students, and then they have to figure out which code blocks make the most sense for each rule. And then this is the map. So for this one, you have to create a program that has your bot walking on the line, and obviously it should avoid each intersection. And it should take 10 seconds to walk in a circle. So you'll need to also use your knowledge of circumference and pi to actually solve this problem. So this would be for if your students have done circumference in 6th grade, or if it's in 8th grade, this would be a good one for them to do. All right, let's see. Any other lessons you want to look at?
I don't have anything in mind, unless there's another one you wanted to point out.
I could point them all out, but so I just wanted to recap. This is an email that we had sent out to, hopefully all of you got this email, but we are going to send you a follow-up email to make sure you have this content that's kind of broken down for you all on one page. and reminding you of how we've categorized them. And then also we will have it on our, right at the top here. You can actually scroll through here, and this has our hour of code lessons. So yeah, check that.
Yeah, so all of those lessons are currently in the lesson library right now. So you guys can go there, look through them. They're under that featured section that Theresa is showing right now. So, and then you saw when you clicked on each lesson, it gave you a breakdown of the different grades. So this one is 6 to 12, it's 60 minutes. Now, keep in mind that this is, like she was saying earlier, if you have a sixth grade or a fifth or fourth grade that's able to do this, you can definitely use this lesson. It doesn't have to be 6 to 12. I kid you not, I'll talk to kindergarten teachers who are like, no, they can do this fifth grade lesson. So it really just depends on your students and where they're at with coding. Also, these attachments right here are good to point out. You'll need those for the lessons. If you click on the OzoBlockly preview button, it will automatically bring up that code within the OzoBlockly editor, or you can also just download it to your computer too and save it that way and then bring it up by opening up that file.
I'll show you quickly. Let's see. I'll download this one. And so now I have it. And so now I'm going to upload it. I would open the folder and then let's see, downloads, this one. And so now it's here. So this is the program that we saw. So you can either save it as a file, which is good if you want to just keep things organized on your desktop, or if you can access the internet quickly and use these links, just go to this page and grab it.
Yeah, okay.
So let's switch to you.
Let me, I'm going to take over one more time, and I'm going to show you guys a few more things before we open up the questions. So, okay, hopefully you guys can see this. This is the Hour of Code website. This is another great place to go and find our lessons. They are featured up on this website as well. And it gives you an overview of the Hour of Code if you aren't familiar with it, who takes part. There's this great map of all the different places, all the different schools that are doing the Hour of Code. I remember about 3 years ago coming in, and the Hour of Code wasn't as big as it was today. It's grown so much, and it's so exciting to see everyone starting to do and implement the Hour of Code in their schools. So we're really excited about that, and because we're so excited, we have partnered with Hour of Code. You'll see right here, and this was on the main page, so all you have to do is go to hourofcode.com/US. You just scroll down a little bit and you'll see, here's our little logo right here. You do have a chance to win some robots through the official Hour of Code website. So all you have to do is click on this Organize an Hour of Code during December 4th through 10th and register it. So you'll go ahead and register your event, and then you'll put in all your information. And we do have, I think, we have a number of classroom kits, not just little starter packs or single Ozobots. We have actual kits that you guys can win. So I would definitely go on there if you're already planning on doing the Hour of Code. If you're going to be using an Ozobot lesson, definitely register it so that you guys have the opportunity to get some free Ozobots. And then the last thing I'll show you is, let me go back to our website. Go to the classroom kit section. Okay, actually it does not here the 18 kit. Let me see if I have it. Okay, so right here, I know we have another page for it. I'm sure it is at the moment, but we have a brand new 18-pack Evo Classroom kit that just came out, I think, last week. So now we have our Bit Classroom kit that has 18-bit. We have our regular Evo Classroom kit that has 12 Evo, and our new 18-pack Evo Classroom kit. Right now, we're running an Hour of Code special. So if you reach out to us directly, then we'll give you all the information about the special. So you can just, I think, email ozoedu@ozobot.com and ask about it. or if you go ahead and just, if you click on this classroom kit section and you scroll down, you can leave a message here and it goes to me. Or you can click on discount purchase orders and then it will send an email as well. So if you have any questions about that, go ahead and email us directly and we'll help you. We'll send over all that information. So I think that was all the info that we were going to show you guys. If you have any questions now, this is the perfect time to go ahead and ask it. So go ahead and just type in that little question section and then we will read it out loud for you.
And while you're getting your questions ready, do you mind throwing it to my page?
Yeah. Let me put on my webcam so we don't go blank. All right, so I'm going to transfer over to Theresa one more time.
Okay. So some of you might know about Ozobot Academy on Facebook. This is a closed group for our educators and interested users. You can come and check it out and then we'll add you to the group. And then you can find any posts that we have that are education specific. So this is also where I've posted the info for the new.
That's the page I was trying to get to earlier. Thanks.
So I think she told you all the salient info, but here's a list with what you get in it. So it's our 18 box and a classroom kit. So that's really exciting. So you can find it there and we'll also post email to you later. And then the other thing, just to wrap it up, is so there's the activities on the Hour of Code site. So up here it says activities. But what you might not be aware of yet is that you have to go down here and click this robotics button, the bottom on the left, and then you will see all of these lessons. You will see us all over the place. You will see us for comfortable. If you have been using Ozobot for a while, your kids are pretty good at programming, we've got some of these cool lessons here too. So that's how you find them as well as on our site. Okay, I'm good.
Perfect. We'll start the questions now. Okay. I do have an educator on here. This shout out to Deborah. She is going to be presenting at the ICE 2018 in Illinois. So if anyone is in Illinois and will be attending that conference on February 26th, definitely stop by and see Deborah because she's going to be showing some Ozobots. So you can get like a hands-on presentation and talk to her about them at the conference. Okay, let's see. So we have, I have Ozobots. I have not used them yet because I have had no training. I have first graders who have no experience with coding. What would be a good lesson to start my kiddos with?
Okay, that's to me. So I can show my screen again. Okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, cool. So our Hour of Code, our Hour of Code offerings are great for all ages and all like levels. So if I go to beginner on this site, I've got beginner and I've got maybe your first grade. So they classify that as a pre-reader. So you can actually start them on OzoBlockly. This would go through the Shape Tracer games if you want to do it with your devices, your Chromebooks or whatever. But also I would recommend basically our introduction to programming. So this is basically lesson 1. If you want to check this out, it'll take you through how to draw the lines, what is an Ozo code, and anything you need to know starting out. So it walks through the markers and everything. So I zoom out. Oh, it won't. Okay. But that would be a perfectly good lesson. I can also show you where to find it on our page. So, so we have our introduction to programming here, our Ozobot and Ozocodes intro. So that'd be a good place to start if you want to do drawing. But like I said, if you also want to start with OzoBlockly, with our shape tracer lessons, I think they can handle that too. So you could do that with this lesson right here.
Yeah, the Shape Tracer was the game that we were showing a little bit earlier. And what's really great about OzoBlockly is that if the kids can't read yet, we do have level 1, which is novice, and those are pictures instead of words too. So if you have any kindergartners out there, they can code as well in this editor.
So yeah, so we've got like things like that. You can just, with pictures, you know that this is like a speed, this is how many steps, and then they can kind of problem solve their way into figuring out what do these pictures mean and then making what they want.
And then I would definitely download the education guide. I don't know if you have the classroom kit. If you don't have the classroom kit, then back where I had showed you where we had all the different startup guides, that's where you can download the educator guide that will walk you through introducing the Ozobot to your students if you're also a first-time user as well as a teacher. So that's another great resource to download and read through. There we go, right there, the educator's guide. Perfect. And if you have any other questions about using the Ozobot, you can always reach out to us at ozoedu@ozobot.com, and we're happy to answer any of the questions that you guys have. Okay, I have a question saying I signed up for the Hour of Code a while back. Am I still entered to win? I believe you still are. If you went to that page that I showed and submitted your event through that little page. If not, I don't think they ask you a lot of questions. So if you want to just resubmit it, then
yeah, to be safe.
Yeah, just to be safe. But it should still work, I'm thinking. That's the Hour of Code website. We're not in charge of it, so we don't know. But just to be safe, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and resubmit that. Can bits also use the proximity sensors? No. So the proximity sensors are a feature of Evo only. So you would have to have the Evos in order to use those or to have those sensors. Okay, so this teacher has bits and 8 fourth graders and 1 hour. What would be a good lesson or activity?
8 fourth graders? Okay.
Very specific.
I like it. So you're asking for an intro lesson or activity, and with bits and fourth graders. Well, let's see. I guess I'll throw my screen up real quick and show you that if you want to do like a typical intro, you can do similar ones that I mentioned earlier, which you've probably already caught on to. But you can also get them into the dance off. So in this lesson, we actually have students get really creative using OzoBlockly. I'll show you what a preview looks like. So using the loops, this dance will go forever, and it'll go through these parts twice. So that includes movement, spinning, disco lights, which are our light animations, and then generally changing color and moving around. So you can task them with creating a cool dance, which is also a really easy intro to OzoBlockly because all they have to do is look through each category and see what they like and then click them together. They don't have to go over here and start grabbing random things like that they don't know what they are.
Whoa, sorry.
So that's actually a pretty easy way of them getting used to how to use our code editor. So that would be a good choice too if you don't want to do one of our other sort of standard intro lessons. Let's see. And then if they do have any Ozocode experience or any drawing experience, we have this game, which is super fun. We actually played this at the company and we had a ton of fun. So basically what happens is students have this map. It's kind of like your standard board game where you have your, what do you call that piece?
The game piece?
Like a game piece that's like, it holds your spot. So you're trying to get from Earth to Neptune. But in order to get your points and move forward, you get a random card with Ozocodes on it and a random card with a shape on it. So in order to actually be able to move your little piece across each space, you need to successfully put these codes into this shape, whatever you got. If your Ozobot doesn't like actually read a code properly, it doesn't read the corners properly, it's considered a fail, you don't get your points. And then how do you know how many points you get? You use this thing, everyone in the group, will be standard. So like everyone can get like 2 spots. But if your code didn't work, then you don't get to move. So that's a really fun game if you're already used to using Ozo codes. You just want to like have some fun and reinforce the drawing and being careful drawing codes, making them really neat and tidy. Yeah, do you want the screen?
Yes, actually. And then there's a couple of questions that were similar, so I'm going to group them together. There was the review, could you review how to put the program onto the Evo with the Flash? Can you use iPads to program? And I had difficulty programming Ozobot with OzoBlockly on a PC. So I'm going to lump all these questions together. So you can use them on iPads, you can use them on desktops, you can use OzoBlockly pretty much on multiple devices that connect to the internet because it's web-based. So you just go to OzoBlockly.com. So iPads, Chromebook books, they work great. A large majority of the educators and teachers that are using Ozobot in the classrooms do use Chromebooks. So we know that works. And then just with regular desktops, my laptop works too. It doesn't have to be on like a flat device. It can be a device that's a regular computer. The most important thing that we run into is that the computer screens are too dim, and that's why a lot of people are having issues with the Ozobots Evo or Bit reading the flash codes. Your computer screen has to be at 100% brightness. And even on top of that, when you think that you have put your iPad on 100%, you might also have the auto dim feature on. So you'll have to go into the settings and take off the auto dim feature, which will then give you the brightest screen possible. So if you are doing that and you're still having issues or you still aren't sure exactly how to calibrate, then let me share my screen with you. Hopefully you can see this. Oh, has it changed yet? Okay, it has not. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. I am on youtube.com, and all I did was type in the Ozobot and I went to the main page. And right here you'll see there is a Ozobot Evo how-to section. So you can click on that. You hear that noise earlier when Theresa was talking, that's because one of the videos automatically popped up on me. But we have the, let's see. We have the how to load, and there's a lot of how-to videos, as you can see. So these are all of the different resources that you can use to start using the Ozobot. So we have how to calibrate your Ozobot Evo on playfield, how to calibrate your Ozobot Evo on paper, how to get started using the Ozobot Evo app. So everything that you need to know about loading the program to the bot will be here. So go ahead and take a look at that. If that doesn't help you out, if the brightness doesn't help, then you can always email contact@ozobot.com, and one of our awesome customer support representatives will be able to help you out with that, and they'll walk you step by step through the process. So I think I answered everything. If not, go ahead and send another message over and we will read that.
And then you mentioned you're talking about iPads. So just as a note, when you're using an iPad, if you turn it to the horizontal landscape, that's the best way to see the whole screen. And just make sure that kids are dragging the gray background. If there's a program already in there and they start moving their blocks around, it could break it. So that's just one thing to look out for. It's the same. It's also true on a screen, but it's for some reason it's easier with your hands on the screen to move things around a little too much. There's also a question about what's the difference between a lesson and an activity. Generally, the lessons have a specific goal. There's probably standards-based, whether that's Common Core, NGSS, or something. So they achieve a specific goal. Whereas an activity is kind of like reinforcing maybe like logical patterns, problem solving, something a little bit more fun and relaxed, like the dance activity.
Mm-hmm. And then we have, do the lessons recommend a ratio of students to Ozobots? Nothing official. You won't see that on the front page of our lessons. We've done tests with students and Ozobots, Evos, and Bits, and we really don't recommend using more than one Ozobot per 4 students.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the max. I would say that might even be a little too many students in certain circumstances. 3 is like 2 to 3 would be perfect if you're using the Ozobot in groups of students, but definitely could do 4. It depends on your class size and how many Ozobots you have. It's not, we haven't made any of our lessons one-to-one where you had to have 1 robot per each student. So all of our lessons and activities are very group friendly. There is, I just saw it. What's the name of the Facebook group again?
Ozobot Academy, all one word. OZO and then Academy, one word. Yeah, join us.
Does Ozobot have an Hour of Code certificate?
Yes, so we're gonna append the certificate to our lessons so you have them accessible, and then Hour of Code does also have some certificate. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we'll make it easy for you. It'll just be on the lesson.
Which lessons would you suggest for 4th and 5th graders who are just completing a Google CS first module?
So it depends, I guess, on which concepts they've been studying. If they're familiar with sort of loops and logic, then that's they can pretty much get into quite a bit. Let's see here. I'll just go to our lesson library. So I will grab the screen.
Oh, let me change it over for you. All right.
Okay, so I'll show my screen and okay, good. So this is all our OzoBlockly lessons. I got here because I was on our lesson portal, and then I went down to our Ozoblockly lessons, and I clicked see more so I can see them here. We have a basic training that goes through different skills for programming your bot, like making sure it goes straight, and we're going to put in surface color, like how do you program when your bot goes on a surface color, what should it do, and then using functions and different things. We also have this lesson, this is actually about pair programming, which code.org has made popular. It's a really good strategy, especially when your students are sharing the bots. How do you deal with whose turn is it, who should be using the computer, who should be turning on the bot, etc. So this actually walks you through the right roles that'll make students be able to share. This might be a good start if your students are already used to using like a block programmer or something, a block-based program editor. So yeah, so like for example, you have your navigator and then you have your driver. And you can watch the video at the beginning and discuss with your students what should a navigator do, what should a driver do. It's just like if you're going on a road trip, the driver has their hands on the wheel, but the navigator is looking at the map and they're making plans. That's basically how we would organize it. And then students trade places, like after 15 minutes, if you're working in pairs, they can swap, or after someone's completed some section of the code, then you can swap places. So like for example, so your goal in this lesson is to get your bot to touch each color and then leave through the arrow, and then touch each color, leave through the arrow. So in each square, you could have your students flip roles. So if you've got groups of 3 or 4, you'll be able to work through that. So this is a good place to go if they're familiar. You can also kind of sift through each of these lessons and see if their difficulty level is sort of what you're looking for. We have some based in like English language arts. We have our fairy tale lessons. We have some more advanced coding lessons. Magellan's Journey, which has a world map that you can program your bot to walk across. I mentioned building a timer. If they're used to those topics, they probably don't know circumference yet, but you could do that. So yeah, you can go through our OzoBlockly programs.
Okay, so I have another question that is, so I was mentioning the trade shows earlier, so where we're going to be at this coming year. So coming up, we are going to be at the Blue Ribbon School of Excellence in Florida, and that's at the end of this month. So if you're attending that conference, we'll be there. We'll also be at the California STEAM Symposium, and that's December 10th through 11th up in San Francisco. So we'll be there as well. FETC is another big one. So the Florida Education Tech Conference. And I believe that's the 26th to the 28th. It's the end of January. So if you're over at that conference, come by and see us. We'll have a whole new booth, which will be exciting. And you guys can come see live demos of Ozobots. And then we're also going to be attending ISTE this year as well. And Q, so Q in California. And one more, NSTA.
Oh, yeah.
So Theresa will be at the NSTA show as well. So definitely look out for us. If you're planning on being at those conferences, we'll be there as well. So stop by and say hi. Okay. Let's see. I have another teacher who was saying that they are looking to do a Ozobot session at the WEMTA in Wisconsin, that conference. So if she's selected, then you should stop by at that one if you're in Wisconsin and check out Ozobots as well. So thanks, Trisha, for pointing that out. Okay, I think we went through all the questions. If you had anything else, if anything else pops up later, or if we didn't reach, or if we skipped over your question. Oh, one just came in. Hold on one second. Yes, will this webinar be archived? If you came in a little bit late, we do record all of our webinars and then we'll post them up on our website. So if you go to ozobot.com and then you click on the education tab, there is a section specifically for webinars and PD. So you can actually view all of our past webinars, and then all of our new recorded webinars will be posted there eventually. So if you just give us a week or two, then we can get it up there and then you can review it. Also, we'll send out an email with all of the links that we went over in this webinar, and then you'll have all that information right there. So that will be coming usually in a couple of days. So that is one more question that came through. So the PD certificate, you can get PD. All you have to do is respond back to that email that we'll send out and then ask me if you can get the certificate. I'll look and make sure that you attended and that you attended for the full session, and then we'll send it out over to you. So yeah, or you can email ozoedu@ozobot.com if you want it sooner, and then that goes to me. I'll get the certificate going for you guys. So again, if I missed anything, if we didn't answer your question, just email us. We'll have everything sent over to you. We hope that you guys have a great hour of code. If you want to share your projects, feel free to on Twitter, on Facebook. You can send them to us. We love seeing all of the different projects and events that you guys go to. So definitely send them over to us and share. Have a great night, and we hopefully will see you on the next webinar.
All right, bye.